Good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first video you've ever seen of mine, hello, my name is Katherine and I live in Melbourne, Australia with my husband and my 10 children. In our house, which isn't huge and isn't amazing, we just have amazing people. We homeschool and I'm home all the time with my kids, and on my channel I have various videos, but if you have a look at my channel, you'll see on Sundays I do secondhand Sunday thrift haul videos, and then during the week I'll do the different things that I get up to. And at the moment I'm going through my whole house, decluttering in very manageable amounts and sections, so that hopefully I can encourage you guys to tackle small areas of your own home, even if you have your kids around all the time and you have a lot of other things going on in your life. So with that said, I've already done section 1 of this bookcase that's next to me. Today I'm tackling the rest of the bookcase, which I'm fairly confident is okay. Any books that I don't want anymore, I will either sell or give away in my little free library, which is out the front of my house, which is super convenient, isn't it? So without further ado, I will show you, I'll open the cupboards and I'll show you. And I have been spending downtime thinking in my brain about the bookcase, and that kind of helps me be able to be more proactive when I do have time to tackle it. The bookcase in all its glory. So like I said, we have 12 people living in this house, and this would be the vast majority of all of our books, some toys, school stuff, and more books, and a binoculars on top to round everything off nicely. Down the bottom here, this is my in progress cupboard. And here's what I'm thinking. I have this sewing machine, and I have my main sewing machine, which is a Juki downstairs. And obviously before I bought the Juki, I had the sewing machine that I just showed you. I have kept that sewing machine because the Juki doesn't do zigzag stitch. And quilters like to use every single tiny bit of fabric and batting that they have. So when I have small amounts of batting left over, I would piece them together with a zigzag stitch. So I kept that machine to do the zigzag stitch. I was laying in bed thinking to myself, is there any other way? I am going to try free motion stitching on the Juki to see if that is good enough to hold my pieces of batting together. And I'm 99.9% sure I'm gonna sell the sewing machine that's up here. I'm at least gonna get it out of the cupboard and it will no longer be in this cupboard. So this is one thing already I'm making progress that at least won't be in this cupboard anymore, and hopefully will be sold in the near future. The cupboard that's down here, it kind of became my in progress cupboard, but then when I thought about the other bookcases areas being totally loaded with books, I'm like, Katherine, spread the wealth, spread the books. So what I have in there is a couple of empty baskets that were kind of waiting to see if they would be useful, some really tall books that don't actually fit in the upper section of the bookcase, and bubbles. I found this basket on Hard Rubbish, and like I said, I hid all the kids' bubbles in here. And it hardly takes up any room at all in the baskets. I've decided that bubbles are as annoying to store as bathing suits in the off season and hats. And because I'm going to be going through the whole house and decluttering and organizing the entire house, I think that the hats, the bathing suits, and the bubbles can live together in harmony somewhere, because tomorrow is like the first day of winter, so don't really need any of those things at the moment, but we're in the lounge room. I can't bog myself down with mucking around with other areas of the house, so I'll remain focused here. And yeah, these are the 2 empty baskets that I was talking about. I decided to declutter the flashcards because we don't use them. So what to do with this, I don't know. We're gonna move on and we're gonna try to rapid fire make some decisions, and then I'll talk through some of the processes that I went through to arrive at my final destination. And I think that'll be pretty good. I think that's a good plan. These books here are Hardy Boys books, which I don't know exactly where they came from. I think I bought them all from thrift stores. And you know what? I'm gonna sell these because these fall into the category of fantasy self. I pulled out a few books that I don't want anymore, so these will go down in my little free library. On the top shelf, it's basically my books, my personal books, and I did have these as well, which I still want to keep, but they were all laying down like that. Became one of those things where I still found myself wondering, what book is on the top shelf? And I just sort of pull it out and have a look and go, ah, it's this one. So these will go down so they can stand up and I can see the spines of them easily. The other good thing is I did discover a whole bunch of books in my husband's bedside table, so I can now get them out of his bedside table and put them in the bookcase. I think that decluttering and organizing and simplifying and intentional living is kind of like a fluid thing. So you saw me take the Hardy Boys books out because I've made a decision I don't want to own those anymore. And that gives me room to actually keep the things that we do want to keep instead. So it's a fluid. I'll take you to the beastly shelf now. This shelf here is our big shelf, so it's for taller books. We have the entire collection of Asterix books, and we have these magnified books and Clarice books and Where's Wally, Mouse Mansion. Most of these books were gifts for my children. So I'm not really wanting to get rid of anything, but it is really like prime real estate. So I'm gonna take out my folder of quilting stuff. So I'll actually show you here. I went through this off camera, but in my folder, I have the instruction manual for my sewing machine, and I have quilting patterns and different projects and stuff that I would like to do in the future. But I also had things in here that I had bought thinking, yeah, I'll totally do this, and I never did. So this is like a pattern to make a little tiny hedgehog thing. I will put this in my little free library. These are just patterns for different things that I've made. You know, coloring books that have all been colored in, and a thingy for my resistance bands. I don't need to be keeping this stuff, which is why I highly recommend going through folders and books and stuff that you have. My quilts folder will go downstairs with my sewing stuff. So I've made more room in here, and it's still like loaded. All the books that we want to keep are now in here and organized. Down here is where I keep my file box, and My youngest child is 2 years old, and we made this shelf kind of for him so that he could grab out the things that he likes playing with. But the reality is he only plays with this box, which is full of what we call baby cars, like Hot Wheels. That truck at the back, which is a Micro Machines truck that unfolds, and this little box of Micro Machine cars and toys. But these have been in and out of going to be decluttered or given away piles for many years. So when I look at these, I see so much potential, and they fit into this container and they're not really taking up too much room, but we do not use them. And even when I spoke to the kids about this, they were like, they're so cute. I'm like, I know, I so relate to this. But I really think that sometimes you just keep a lot of stuff because you keep it. Definitely having it down the bottom where James can access it means it just gets poured out and dumped everywhere all the time. Okay, now we're in this cupboard, and I have a whole bunch of books up the top that are doing that laying down thing again, which I just don't think is the best idea. So I'm gonna relocate those so they're not like that anymore. I feel much better about that decision, and I'm kind of wondering why it took me like a whole year to make that decision.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin, even with my eyes still closed.
Moving on to the ground floor. This cupboard is too full, so I really need to distribute the bulk of everything better. I can do this, and you can do it too. If you have areas where you want to sigh like really heavily and sort of go, I can't do it, we just start with one thing at a time, and eventually we get to the finished goal. So the first thing I want to do is grab some baby wipes to try to clean the pink school box and just some marks and stuff that I can see and make it a bit cleaner. Oh, wow. Now, that was deeply satisfying because it was like immediately clean. And things like this only get dirty because little kids are grabbing their school boxes and pulling them out. So we won't condemn ourselves over things not being perfectly clean. We'll just clean them when we need to. I'm going to take out the photo albums that I did in the other videos where I put all of our printed family photos in them so that I didn't have photos sitting in a box in a closet anymore. And I have my wedding album, which is like 18 years old now. Before I relented and bought new photo albums from Big W and Kmart, I did look at thrift stores for folders that I potentially could use, and I bought a couple, but they were both fails, so I'm gonna re-donate these. There's no point of keeping things that you previously thought would be a great idea if you're never, ever, ever gonna use them. Just let it go. Don't go telling yourself, oh, maybe I could find a use for it, or maybe one day I might need it. Just let it go. Let go of the excess that you have in your life. It's only holding you back, baby. So just let it go. The stencils that the kids tell me that they love and they're going to use all the time, but they never pack away properly. They just need to pack them away properly, don't they? My husband always tells me to stop trying to carry everything in one load, but I am me, and this is who I am. I am a carry everything at one time kind of person. I found another stencil that needs to go with the other stencils. Wow, I even had things like double thickness because I had this cupboard so full, I couldn't have everything like flat and out altogether. Pencil cases. You can comment below if you think that you will always have baby wipes in your house even when you don't have babies in it anymore, because they're really great to get little spots off things and clean stuff. So yeah, wow. Breathe, Catherine, breathe. I made it. So, where are we at? Well, I'm over here, fluffing around with stuff. This bookcase is now done. So let's throw open the doors and I'll show you the finished product. I have organized the bookcase. I consider that done. Up the top, I do have binoculars at the back because we do occasionally use them. And then just extra copy paper, the laminator, and then our books, which are just a bunch of books in a bookcase. Down the bottom, we have a bit more space to work with. Things are not crammed in terribly. All of this is organized with things that we actually use and read and enjoy. James's cupboard, subject to change. And this was the cupboard we did the other day, which is still working really well. I am now actually using this cupboard properly, and I have all the taller books so I can see what I have. Our memorabilia type books and our math curriculum. I have my pile of things that need to go elsewhere in the house or to be donated or given away to other people. Some books to sell, and a few things that need to be put in better storage. So that's it. The bookcase is done. The only homework I really have to do is selling those books and doing the sewing machine test. So I'm gonna sell my Old Faithful sewing machine that I loved and used for many years. I don't need 2 sewing machines. I just don't have a big enough house or a strong enough desire to keep 2 sewing machines. That's just the reality of what I've decided. I'm gonna tidy up and finish my space, and that's my big advice to you. So if you're overwhelmed and you're trying to declutter, pick manageable spaces to deal with entirely. That means you need to have enough energy to tackle the space, get the items out that you don't want, and enough energy to finish up. So dealing with the things that you don't want to own anymore, at least putting them in a donate bag or in a little free library or away. Because we can fall into the trap when we're like busily decluttering, we start making piles, but then that pile will be in your way somewhere. It'll either be in your bedroom, so the kids can't get into it, or cluttering up your entryway, or I think some people have mud rooms. So that's my lasting final words with you, is to go at a pace that you can go at, that works for you, and have enough energy to finish off the task properly. So I hope you enjoyed my video today. I like doing these videos because I really want to encourage other people to live their best lives. And I personally think best life lived isn't cluttered with things that you don't want to have. I just want to spend time with my kids and my husband and not be constantly cleaning and sorting and organizing and moving stuff around all the time. So if you haven't subscribed, I hope that you will, and that you can join in with me decluttering, organizing my house, and living my best life. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you very soon. Bye guys. You can comment below if you think that even when you have no babies in the house ever again anymore, wow. If you think you're gonna keep baby wipes. Was that even English?